So here's a huge question. Are our lives already written for us? Or do we actually have the power to change our own destiny? It's a question people have been asking forever, and the framework we're digging into today offers a really fascinating and, pretty practical answer. Okay, so to get started, we've got to ground ourselves in a core concept from Buddhism that life, by its very nature, involves struggle. It's constantly changing, and that sense of me isn't as solid as we think it is. This is our starting point. It's the reason we might even feel the need to look for a new path. And that right there leads us to the big puzzle. If everything we're experiencing now is a result of our past, are we just stuck playing out some pre-written script? Or is there a way to actually break free and write a new story for our future? To even begin to find the answer, we first have to understand the engine that's driving our destiny. And from this perspective, that engine is karma. Now, this is super important. The way karma is defined here, it's not some cosmic judge handing out rewards and punishments. Not at all. It's more like a natural law of cause and effect. It's simply the direct result of our own habits. What we think, say, and do over and over again. So in a way, we are the creators of our own karma. So how does that really work? Well, it all starts small, with just a single tendency, a single action or thought. You repeat that, and boom, it becomes a habit. And those habits, all woven together, they're what create your life path. According to this view, that path then just keeps repeating itself, creating this ongoing cycle. The bottom line here is that none of this is random. It's as simple and predictable as planting a garden. The seeds you plant with your actions directly determine the kind of fruit you're going to get later. It's a one-to-one relationship between cause and effect. All right, so if karma is the cycle that shapes our lives, how in the world do we break out of it? Well, this is where the concept of Dhamma, or spiritual practice, comes in. It's presented as the tool we can use to step in and actually transform that cycle. And there's a really important distinction made here between two different sides of Dharma. First, you have receiving Dharma. Think of this as the aha moment. It's like you're lost and suddenly you see the way out. But then comes cultivating Dharma, and that's the actual work of building a new path for yourself, brick by brick. This sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? It's the difference between just seeing the map and actually lacing up your boots and starting the journey. The awakening gives you the map, but it's the practice that actually moves your feet forward. So, what does that journey look like? Well, this framework lays out a super practical, two-part approach for reshaping that karmic path. It all comes down to two main pillars of practice. The first pillar is all about clearing out the old stuff. It starts with self-reflection, taking an honest look at your own patterns so you can stop making the same mistakes again and again. It also means genuinely feeling remorse for any harm you've caused. And, most importantly, it requires letting go of the ego. And wow, this is a pretty deep insight. The idea is that our attachment to our ego, our constant need to be right, to defend our identity, to see ourselves as separate, that's the very anchor that keeps us chained to these painful, repetitive karmic cycles. Now, the second pillar isn't about the past at all. It's about actively building the future. This is done in two ways. There are external merits, which are actions that help other people, like giving to charity or sharing your time. And then there's internal virtue, which is that inner work of changing your own negative mental habits into positive ones. So after all this work, reflecting on the past, letting go of the ego, and actively building this new foundation of positive thought and action, what's the result? I mean, what does this new life actually look like? This right here, this is the core transformation. By consciously changing the causes, our thoughts, our words, our actions, we totally change the effects, which is the path of our life. We literally stop being a passenger just carried along by old habits, and we get into the driver's seat. And there's this incredible four-step journey that shows us how to get there. First, you know life. You understand how this cause and effect thing works. Second, you accept life. You face your reality as it is without giving up. Third, you define life. You make a conscious choice to go in a new, positive direction. And finally, you fulfill life by actually walking that new path and reaching your true potential. This quote just nails the whole process. It's not some passive hope. It's an active, conscious, and honestly, really empowering plan. It's a roadmap that takes us from just trying to understand our lives to truly fulfilling them. So this entire explainer really leaves us with one very direct and personal question.
If our destiny is just the result of the seeds we plant, then it forces us to look at what we're doing right now. What kind of future are you creating for yourself in this very moment?